The esteemed messenger of God, on a day marked by the severity of his illness, felt the urgent need to share some final words with his devoted companions before departing from this world. With significant effort, he rose, leaning on two of his most faithful followers. On one side, Imam Ali, and on the other, Faisal bin Abbas, who helped him walk with great respect and care towards the mosque. Upon arrival, with measured and solemn movements, he ascended the minbar, where he sat with dignity to address his followers for the last time. With a firm voice, albeit weakened by illness, the messenger instructed Bilal, a trusted companion whom God has in his glory, saying, "Summon the people, ask them to gather here in the mosque. I have a crucial message to leave them, my last testament before departing this world." Bilal, obeying immediately, announced to the community, and soon the mosque was filled with an eager and reverent crowd that could barely fit within its confines. Once everyone was present, the noble messenger of God began his speech, first praising and expressing gratitude towards Allah, the Most High, and then, with a tone laden with serenity and urgency, he addressed his noble companions, sharing with them words of wisdom and spiritual guidance for the times ahead. "Beloved people, the time for me to part from you has drawn considerably close. If at any time I have caused harm to any of you with a blow, here I present my back for you to strike in return. If I have taken something that belonged to any of you, here I am to return it. Whoever has any right over me should not fear reprisals in claiming it. I want you to know that it is not in my nature to be angry with those who rightfully claim their rights. In fact, those whom I love most are those who bravely claim what is rightfully theirs, or those who choose to forgive. My greatest wish is to present myself before my Lord without any outstanding rights of another person." A profound silence fell over the congregation as the messenger of God reiterated his words solemnly. "O people, if I have harmed anyone, here is my back. Let them come and strike me. If anyone has a pending claim over my possessions, here I am to settle it." At that moment, an individual among the crowd stood up and said, "O messenger of Allah, you owe me 3 dirhams. The Prophet, with complete serenity, responded, "I do not reject your claim, nor do I demand any oath to validate it. However, I would be interested to know how I have incurred this debt of 3 dirhams." The man explained, "O messenger of Allah, on one occasion a needy person came to you, and you instructed me to give him 3 dirhams, which I complied with. It is those 3 dirhams that I am now claiming." The Prophet nodded and acknowledged, "Your claim is just," and without delay instructed, "O Fatal, please give 3 dirhams to this man." Subsequently, the noble messenger of God issued the specific instruction to close all the access doors to the mosque, with the notable exception of the door corresponding to Abu Bakr, which was to remain open. This directive was immediately carried out, resulting in the closure of all entrances to the residences adjacent to the sacred mosque, except for Abu Bakr's. Due to the severity of his health condition, Abu Bakr was designated to lead the prayers. During the days when the noble messenger's health permitted, he would attend and lead the communal prayers in the sacred mosque. However, 3 days before his passing, his health deteriorated drastically, preventing him from going to the mosque to fulfill his spiritual duties. At that critical moment, he instructed Abu Bakr to assume the responsibility of leading the prayer for the faithful, thus delegating the role of imam to him. On one occasion, while Abu Bakr led the midday prayer, the noble messenger experienced a slight improvement in his health. Firmly supported by Imam Abbas and Ali, he embarked on the path to the sacred mosque with slow but steady steps. Upon noticing the arrival of the messenger of God, Abu Bakr discreetly attempted to step aside to make room for him. However, the Prophet gestured for him to remain in his position. He then instructed Abu Bakr to sit beside him, specifically to his left, while the prayer continued. Abu Bakr stood, performing the prayer behind the seated Prophet, leading the congregation for the last time. That was the final prayer that the noble messenger of God officiated for the Muslims in the sacred mosque on a significant Saturday of the month of Rabi al-Awwal. At that special moment, the angel Gabriel was sent by God to inquire about the state of the messenger of God. O Ahmad, the Almighty Allah sends you greetings as a sign of honor and asks how you are. Although he already knows your state better than anyone, the angel expressed. With a deep longing to reunite with his merciful Lord, the messenger responded, O Gabriel, I feel weak and feeble. The next day, Sunday, the 11th day of the month of Rabi al-Awwal, the prophet of genies and men Muhammad lay prostrate on his bed, consumed by fever. The mothers of the believers surrounded his bed, and Aisha, our mother, sat nearby at his bedside. At this critical moment, Usama bin Zayd, arriving from the camp, appeared in the room of the noble messenger. Seeing him prostrate and motionless, Usama approached with reverence, kissing his hands and forehead, his heart laden with sadness and sorrow. Although the messenger did not articulate any words, he raised his hands towards the sky and passed them over Usama. It was evident that he was offering a prayer for him. With a heavy heart, Usama then returned to the front of the army, carrying with him the blessing of his beloved leader. The second appearance of the angel Gabriel also took place on a Sunday, precisely on the 11th day of Rabi al-Awwal. Gabriel visited the messenger of God again to inquire about his condition, and on this occasion informed him that the false prophet of Yemen, Aswad al-Ansi, had been executed. The messenger of God shared this important news with his noble companions the next day, on a very special Monday, the 12th day of Rabi al-Awwal. This day not only marked the date of his birth, which had also occurred on a Monday, but also brought with it a momentary improvement in his health. Encouraged by this brief respite in his illness, the messenger of God rose from his bed, prepared diligently, and made his way to the sacred mosque. Upon arrival, he found his companions lined up behind Abu Bakr, who was leading the morning prayer. The sight of his faithful followers praying together filled him with profound happiness, so much so that he couldn't help but smile. He joined the prayer, following the movements of Abu Bakr. Upon noticing the presence of the Prophet among them, smiling and participating in the prayer, the companions were filled with renewed joy, believing that their beloved leader had fully recovered. After participating in the morning prayer and following Abu Bakr, generating a wave of joy among his companions, the Prophet returned to his sacred chamber, where he reclined once again on his bed. In those moments of stillness, Commander Usama bin Zayd came to bid him farewell for the last time. The messenger of God, with a serene yet firm voice, imparted his blessing, saying, "Move with the blessing of Allah." Following the directive received, Commander Usama bin Zayd immediately proceeded to the camp to convey the order for movement to the fighters, thus marking the beginning of their campaign. On that same significant Monday, Abu Bakr also moved to his residence in Aun, carrying with him the teachings and spirit of leadership imparted by the Prophet in his final days. This sequence of events reflected the weight of the responsibilities that both Abu Bakr and Usama bin Zayd bore, and the trust that the messenger of God placed in his closest followers during his final moments. Abu Bakr, observing that the condition of the messenger of the universe had shown a temporary improvement, seized that moment to approach him. With respect and relief in his voice, Abu Bakr expressed, "O messenger of Allah, praised be Allah for his infinite grace and generosity. You have survived until this morning. With your permission, I would like to retire to my home in Saun." Sensible to the needs of his faithful companion, the messenger of God granted his approval with a simple yet significant response, "Yes." Thereupon, Abu Bakr made his way to his residence in Saun, carrying with him the reassurance of having seen the messenger in an improved state, albeit momentarily. In his final moments, on a significant Monday, the Prophet addressed his final words to the Muslim community and his family. From his bed, with a weakened yet clear voice, the messenger of God imparted his last message. "O people, trials as dark as the night itself are approaching. People, you will not find fault in me, for I have only declared lawful what Allah in the Quran has made lawful, and prohibited what he has prohibited. O my daughter Fatima, O my aunt Safiya, Strive to perform actions that are acceptable to Allah, and do not expect me to intercede for you, for I have no power to save you from the wrath of Allah. Fatima, the only surviving daughter of the Messenger of God, was a central figure in his life and a reflection of his paternal love. Known as Fatima al-Zahra, she was notably similar to her father in character and in her manners of sitting, standing, and walking. On the last day of his illness, the Messenger of God requested the presence of his precious daughter, a symbol of good morality and grace, and had her sit by his left side. In that intimate moment, he whispered something in her ear. Upon hearing her father's words, Fatima was enveloped in an aura of sadness and pain, and tears began to flow from her eyes. Then, in a touching turn, the Messenger of God shared a second message with her in secret. This time, Fatima's expression changed drastically. From tears, she transitioned to a smile, her countenance illuminated with joy. Later, when Aisha, curious, asked why her mood had changed so abruptly, Fatima revealed, "At first, he told me he would soon leave this world and leave me, which naturally made me cry. But then, he reassured me by saying that among everyone in my family, I would be the first to join him after his departure, which filled me with joy." On that Monday, the 12th day of Rabi al-Awwal, the final moments of the Messenger of God's earthly life unfolded. The sun declined towards the west, and the blessed head of the Prophet rested on Aisha's thighs, leaning against her chest. The messenger's breathing grew increasingly difficult, but his tongue did not cease to invoke Allah, saying, "O Allah, reunite me with the Supreme Companion." Even in those final moments, he continued to impart guidance to his community, urging them, "Treat well those under your care, and be diligent in prayer." The atmosphere was charged with emotion and sorrow, especially for Fatima, who was present and watching with anguish. In a burst of pain, Fatima embraced the messenger, saying, "Oh, the suffering of my father." Tears flowed incessantly from her eyes as the messenger, in a gesture of comfort, assured her, "After today, your father will suffer no more, my daughter. Do not cry. When I pass away, remember to say, 'We belong to Allah, and to Him we shall return.'" In those critical moments, there was the simultaneous arrival of the angel Gabriel along with the angel of death. The Messenger of God faced his final moments in this ephemeral world, accompanied by these celestial presences. Gabriel, who had been his guide and messenger throughout his mission, was now there to mark the transition of the Prophet from this world to the presence of Allah. When the Messenger of God sought news about his imminent destiny, the angel of death, AZRAEL, requested permission to enter his presence. Once granted, AZRAEL positioned himself in front of the messenger and communicated, "The Most High has commanded me to obey you in all things. If you wish, I will take your soul. If you prefer otherwise, I will leave you." Faced with these words, the Messenger of God sought confirmation from Gabriel, who assured him, "O Messenger of Allah, the Supreme Companion awaits you." With serenity and acceptance, the messenger responded, "O AZRAEL, come and fulfill your task." In those final moments, the head of the Prophet still rested on the thighs of Aisha, his body leaning against her chest. Beside him was a vessel of water. With great solemnity, he immersed his hands in the water and gently passed them over his face, a final symbolic purification. While his hands were still wet, he uttered the sacred words, "There is no God but Allah." After this act of devotion, he withdrew his hands from his face and, lifting his gaze to the ceiling of his house, fervently repeated, "O Allah, the Supreme Companion." It was in that sacred moment on a Monday, the 8th of June 632 CE according to the Gregorian calendar, or the 11th of Rabi al-Awwal according to the Islamic calendar, at the age of 63, that the blessed soul of the Messenger of God ascended to the Supreme Companion, leaving behind an eternal legacy of faith, compassion, and wisdom.